Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of 2A Arsenal Roundup News. My name is Richard Espinosa. I'm your host. 2A Arsenal Roundup News is your primary source for Second Amendment news, whether it be good, bad, or ugly, or whether it be important legislation that will benefit your Second Amendment rights or cause an effect to your Second Amendment rights. Whatever happens in blue states or red states, we keep you informed as best as we possibly can, so that we keep you informed on the injustice that's going on in Washington, D.C. in your state, so that you can join the fight and call up your legislators and tell them where you stand. At this time, I want to take this time to thank our American veterans, especially all our current serving members of the United States Armed Forces, our brave men and women, those who are currently serving and those who are retired. I want to take this time and thank you for all what you do in keeping our nation safe and protected. Your service will never go unnoticed, and to always remember, don't let those who disrespect you discourage you in believing that there's people that don't appreciate you, because believe me, there are a lot of people who appreciate you, and I'm happy to be one of them. I'm proud to say that I clearly back our veterans 100% for all what they do. We can never thank our veterans enough for all we do. No amount of money, no amount of thank yous or prayers will ever be enough to help our veterans. The least that we can do is thank them. Buy them a meal if you can. Donate some clothing to them if you can, or help out any veteran that you possibly can, because they stay up late at night fighting for us out in the battlefield while all of us are sleeping. They're the reasons why we live in the greatest country known to man, the greatest country in the whole wide world, the United States of America. And they're the reasons why this country is free. They're the reasons why we live in a great country. I know it seems like in today's world, it doesn't feel like we're living in the America that I once grew up in. And a lot of it's because of these filthy, disgusting communist professors who are brainwashing our youth into becoming communist. And this is definitely not the America I grew up in. I never thought this would be like today. I never thought 40 some odd years ago that I would see something like this. And it's just a shame that it became for what it became. But what we can do is spread the word of freedom, liberty, constitutionalism, and the importance of our Second Amendment rights as well as our First Amendment rights. That's the best we could do. Always help your liberal friends understand. I know sometimes I have liberal friends that, that frustrate me and drive me crazy, but you know what? I just be calm, cool, and collective, and I try to explain to them why they're wrong. And unfortunately, a lot of these college students believe whatever these communist professors tell them. And that's why we have the America that we have today. But nevertheless, that this is Veterans Day, and I want to take this time to thank our veterans again for all what they do. We can never thank you enough for what you do. And we can never repay you for everything you've gone through. But the best we can do is help you any way we can. Give donations if possible. That's the least we can do. And this being Veterans Day, I want to talk a little bit about an important legislation that GOA passed last year. Last year, it's been a year now since the Veterans Second Amendment Protection Act was passed. This was an important bill, especially during the darkest hour of the Biden administration. And, for 20 years, the Veterans Affairs have been sending lists of names of American veterans to the NICS, which is the National Institute of Criminal Background Check Systems. And simply because they had some advisors helping managing their funds. And once their names go into the system, the ATF starts to question their mental health. Should they be trusted with a firearm or not? So basically the ATF and all the federal bureaucrats are nosing into the lives of our American veterans' private lives. And this also, and because that the Veterans Second Amendment Protection Act is passed, GOA also forced the Biden administration to defund the ATF by $122 million. I have a link down below that you could read about this amazing accomplishment, and it's an important accomplishment that GOA has done. So with this being Veterans Day, I want to honor this amazing accomplishment that GOA has done. And if you're not a member of Gun Owners of America, you should join. It's very affordable to join. Just get a 1-year membership. And whenever you're ready to get a life membership, go for it. Because, Gun Owners of America is the ultimate bulldog when it comes to fighting for our Second Amendment rights. I can never say enough about Gun Owners of America and for all what they do. They lead by example with the motto of no compromise, and they are a no compromise organization. No other Second Amendment rights organization defines the motto of no compromise like Gun Owners of America. They really do fight. And there are other great gun rights organizations out there, don't get me wrong. There are many that are great. But just happens that GOA really is the true lead by example when it comes to no compromise. But you also have great groups out there such as the Second Amendment Foundation. You also have the National Association for Gun Rights. The Virginia Citizens Defense League, the Firearm Policy Coalition. You also have Jews for the Preservation of Firearm Ownership. You also have the NRA, who has made major improvements. Now, I know there's many of you out there that might be a little iffy about the NRA, and I clearly understand. But as I've mentioned before, and I mentioned this in my last podcast, is that Doug Hamlin has took the NRA to a whole new level. He really has rebuilt the NRA, and he's doing a good job regaining the trust to its members. I understand there's a lot of people out there who were once NRA members. You left because of Wayne LaPierre, and I clearly understand. I'm not a big fan of Wayne LaPierre myself. I've been a life member for the NRA since 2009, and I know a lot of people turned away from the NRA because of some of the things that Wayne LaPierre did. I met Wayne LaPierre a couple times. He may be a nice guy, but just because he's a nice guy, it doesn't mean he was right for the organization, and he wasn't. He talked the talk, but he couldn't talk the walk. Unfortunately, he gave in with gun control light. He kind of caved in a little bit, and plus a lot of people were not too happy back in 2008 when he supported John McCain. John McCain was no friend to the Second Amendment. When John McCain ran against Barack Obama for the presidency, it wasn't going to be a win-win situation. Same thing in 2012 when Mitt Romney went up against Barack Obama. It was not a win-win situation, and he supported Mitt Romney, who was definitely no friend to the Second Amendment. A lot of people at the NRA annual meetings had a talk with Wayne LaPierre on why he's supporting Mitt Romney. Then his response was, well, I understand that Mitt Romney doesn't have a good record on protecting Second Amendment rights, but would be far worse under Barack Obama. And he said the exact same thing with John McCain. John McCain may not be the greatest friend of the Second Amendment, but it would be a lot worse under Obama. No, you don't support neither one of them. And that's what Gun Owners of America did. They did not support any of the candidates between John McCain and Mitt Romney. They simply supported the Libertarian candidate. Even though the vote may not count, it would go to either the incoming president, but at least you did not vote for the person who's against your Second Amendment rights. And that's one of the biggest flaws in the presidential elections, a two-party system when there should be a three-party system. And they need to change the college electoral votes a little bit, so that way a third candidate could have a chance at winning, but they'll never do that. But that's another story. But nevertheless, Gun Owners of America has done a great job not only protecting and defending law-abiding gun owners, but they have done an amazing job protecting our veterans and protecting our Second Amendment rights, because unfortunately our veterans have been targeted by the ATF and all these federal bureaucrats in trying to deny them to owning firearms, and somehow, some way, they are being accused of being mentally unstable to own a firearm simply because of the health problems that they might have, or some types of depression that they went through their war. I mean, everybody should have a due process. Here in America, we're innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. But when you have the National Institute of Criminal Background check systems, when your name is being thrown in there, it's like you're saying you're guilty until proven innocent. That's one of the reasons why I don't like background checks, is because it denies due process. Let me remind you, criminals don't go through background checks. Why do law-abiding citizens need to? Because we know that criminals are going to steal guns. They're going to make black market guns, or they buy them off the street. The criminal's going to get a gun no matter what law you pass. All it's doing is denying and making it difficult for a law-abiding citizen to get a gun, because criminals will always find a way. And of course, the ATF is constantly spying on private collectors who sell their guns privately without doing a background check. As far as I'm concerned, though, that it's a waste of time doing background checks, because again, criminals are not going to register their guns. They're not going to do a background check, because a criminal knows that if they do a background check, chances are they're not going to get the gun because it's on record. So they're going to buy it under the table and break every law they can to get it. That means including stealing it. And unfortunately, these hack politicians just cannot accept that. And it's just bad enough that, our veterans, some of them lose their limbs. Some of them, have bad asthma attacks, or they go some type of health problems, and yet they're still being harassed by their employer. Here that they served their life for us and gave their life to this country in the fighting the cause of freedom, they're being denied their rights. And luckily, GOA was there to make sure that the Veterans Second Protection Act stayed intact. So, with that being said, I just want to thank all our veterans for everything you do. Your hard work and your dedication in serving our country will never go unnoticed. And I will make sure it will never go unnoticed. You will be noticed all the time, and I will make sure of that. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, is because I like to be the voice for the law-abiding citizens, be the voice for the law-abiding gun owners, because again, we're all in this together. And I am not going to stand there and allow these hack politicians to pull a fast one on us or do any type of sneaky gun control laws that are going to affect our gun rights. So again, the best way you can help our veterans is not only donate money to veterans organizations, but also, help donate money to any Second Amendment gun rights group, whether it be the ones I've just mentioned. It only takes just $1. $1 will make a difference because they're protecting all our rights. But if you also really want to help veterans, go visit Jarrett from Guns and Gadgets. You can go to his website. He's also one of the part owners of Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee is a veteran-run organization, both by retired military veterans and retired law enforcement. For every purchase you make with Blackout Coffee, you're contributing money to help fight for our future court battles, both in Superior Court or Supreme Court. This money is used to help elect the right candidates who will protect and defend our Second Amendment rights. I understand, though, that there are many politicians out there who don't give a damn about the average American, but there are some that actually do care, and there's some that don't. Like, take for example Andrew Clyde, the congressman from Georgia. He gave up his business and being a gun shop owner to be a congressman. And I guess he has his kids running his gun shop. And one of the reasons why Andrew Clyde ran is because he dealt with a lot of harassment with the ATF, and he just had enough of it. So he knew he wanted to do something to protect American gun owners. So he ran for Congress and successfully won. He's just one of those average Joes who's not in it for the money, but in it to protect and defend our future, our Constitution, our freedoms, our great country, the United States of America. And that's the difference between a politician and an average American who cares. I mean, there are some out there who go into politics for power, money, and greed, but there are some that go out there to do a service and to represent the American people, and Andrew Clyde is just one of them. And you too can be that person. Be like that next Andrew Clyde. Be that average small business owner who cares about the future of America. And you want to do your part into making sure that we live in a better America. And you also have an opportunity to go into office and help pass a law such as term limits in Congress and Senate. Think about what you can do. Well, that is it for today for 2A Arsenal Roundup News. And if you have any important 2A legislation bills that you want to bring to my attention, just feel free to send me an email at rjespinoza, that's espinoza.roundupnews@gmail.com. Tell me what state you're from. Tell me what the bill's about. Will it benefit your Second Amendment rights, or will it cause an effect to your Second Amendment rights? If you want me to keep your name anonymous, just let me know, or I just go by your first name or your last name or both. Let me know how you want me to address you in my next podcast, but just send me an email on any type of legislation that you feel is important so that others can know about it and they can join the fight. Because you too can also make a difference. Help me, help you. So that is it for today for 2A Arsenal Roundup News. And to all our American veterans, happy Veterans Day. Your service will always be appreciative. God bless.